Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. I'm joined by my awesome partner in crime, Mr. King James Stallcup. Give him an old hook 'em horns from the Mile High City, representing the old Stallcup electrical education over there in Big Sky Country, Texas. Really awesome for you to put this together, James. And dude, like I say, I don't know if you heard about this myth or if you remember running across it when you're an inspector,
No.
but it's pretty interesting. So I think you can have some fun with us tonight and just tear it up. And I'm on vacation, so I finally got a paid vacation. I'm out of there. I was just looking forward to having my show kick off my vacation. Me and the fam, we're going up to Estes Park, family cabin we have up there. We're gonna go spend some time and just get some little R&R after a pretty busy summer. It's been rough, so.
Oh yeah, take some R&R, baby. I wish I could right now. I'm freaking tired.
Dude, I know you're slamming.
I've got a bunch of attorney cases going right now, and just a lot of things going on, and with the publisher and all that. I apologize to everybody. I got 4 of them done, and I was like, that's not enough. So there's not going to be a topic this week. It took everything. I was up till 4 in the morning last night, turned around and got up at 8 this morning just to get the stuff for the podcast ready, except for one thing. I just got to where my eyes were hurting. I was like, I just can't do anymore. I'm wore out. I mean,
well,
but we have had.
I really appreciate it. It's so awesome, dude. Like, you put together awesome material, and it means a lot. And like I say, I've been going through a lot of the little shorts that you've been posting, and it brings back memories and stuff, and it's pretty funny. So I saw one of my easy quizzes on there. You went 1 for 3. It was back when we were doing 3 questions. So I figured I'd do another easy question close to the same topic and just see, if you might be able to turn it around. You've been doing pretty good this year. You're like pretty much on a winning streak. I don't know. I would say you're probably up there pretty high. I'd have to go calculate it for the year, but I think you're up there pretty high this year. So figured I'd switch it up a little, go back to one of our older episodes where you didn't do so well and you only went 1 for 3, and see if maybe I could pull that topic out of there and see if maybe I could get you on it. But
it's a shot. It'll be fun. Hell, I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun doing these, and like I say, I really appreciate you working on it. And like I say, it takes me a little bit, not a long time, but it takes me a little bit of a hot minute to get my end put together with my segments, and you know what I mean. I do a post on Sunday, I do a post on Tuesday, and then I just put them all together. And I just want to say thanks so much for all the participation. We got the Wall of Shame this week. It was actually from a real guy. I think he said it was down in Mexico, and he actually sent me a picture of how he's fixing it up and tracing out all the circuits and getting it all fixed up. So the Wall of Shame that's what makes it such an awesome group, is you take the before and the after, and it might be a big Wall of Shame in the before, and then it turns into a really awesome
you didn't
install
send
in the
me
after.
a Wall of Shame picture. I actually pulled one up on my own, I think, on that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one. Well, let's see. Let me think. I saw Tool of the Week. I saw the Meme of the Week.
Yeah, because I check them off as I send them.
Let me check and see. I can tell you 100% if you sent it or not. Cause I get my messages here. Because I could have swore, I was like, he just forgot. I'll find one. Let's see here. You had let's see.
Yeah, I could even tell you it was
okay, you sent the Tool of the Week.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? You're right, dude. I missed it, bro. So I apologize to that gentleman. Yeah, I apologize to that gentleman. We'll post it next week. Yeah, that's my bad. I must have. I probably did the same thing as you. Probably my eyes got tired and
Yeah,
and send it.
like they realize how much it takes to get all of this. I mean, each week we probably put, close to 10, 15 hours, depending on what we're doing and everything. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to all the people that are subscribing. Ever since we started doing the tagging and everything, figured out how to do all that and doing all the individual videos, the shorts and everything. I think, I don't remember exactly how many, but just here recently, I mean, we had gotten views before and all that, but just all of a sudden, these views were coming in. I think just like in the last 2 days, it's over 1,700 views now. And
Nice.
it, from all the tagging we've been doing for about the last month, that's where all these views started coming in. The next thing you know, I get this little tag thing that pulls up on my YouTube channel there, and it said, "Congratulations, you've gone over 10,000 views." And I looked at it, and it had already, from when they posted that morning. I looked at it noon, it had already gone over 300 more. You know,
Wow.
and I was sitting there looking, and the views are cool and everything, and the likes and the shares, all that. But the metric I always look at is the viewing hours,
Yeah.
and there were almost 700 hours of viewing. That tells me
Wow.
they're just not coming in, just clicking and a click. Look, they're actually watching. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, 700 viewing hours, and I think, uh, you know, I was just looking before I come on, and we went up to, I think last week we had just getting closer. We hit 300. Now it's at 311. So it's like every day there's a one or two that's adding on as they're starting to see what we're doing. So hopefully that'll jump up to 1,000 before too long,
Well,
and
like
get more than that.
we're right on the crest of almost 30,000 on electrical code discussion for awesome electricians. So
Oh yeah.
that's pretty awesome. Thanks, you guys. And like I say, I always try to bring weekly content. I always try to, boost the discussion. I appreciate like the apprentices and different electricians that reach out to me and give me ideas on the myths and ask me, my expert opinion on different stuff. And it just means a lot that everyone's participating and jumping in, and like all these guys will jump in, and what you typically have is these guys kind of arrogantly coming in telling you you're wrong and you're stupid and all this stuff, and I just very calmly just tell them, well, I just really, this is where I read, this is where I looked it up, this is where I read it, and next thing you know, these guys have been really awesome. All you guys out there have been awesome. They all just say, you know what, you taught me something new, I appreciate it. We don't have no attitudes. It's really awesome. I love it so much. I love the fact people are willing to learn, whether you're a first year apprentice, second year apprentice, or a 27, 28 year guy like myself. We're all learning, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, there's times where they said, hey, write down on here what year apprentice you are, and they didn't tell me just to go take it to the apprentices. So I went and I took it to all the journeymen too. And I was like, yeah, they said I need you to write down what year apprentice you are on here. Oh man, you should have seen how mad. I mean, her face was beet red when I come back, and he's like, "You're an apprentice?" I'm all, no, I got licensed in 2001, but I've been an apprentice the whole time, just still learning new ways to
Oh
do
yeah.
stuff, still, learning how to, like learning what an outlet is, and learning when there is an outlet, when there's not an outlet, all that kind of stuff. So
Sure. It's like every time we do a myth, we do a topic, anything that we do on here, we research it. It
yeah,
just, we're researching, trying to find things and all, to tie it in. And, it's just like I just got into one little discussion, uh, they posted up, it was CQOTD, question of the day. They have somebody over there, that's their opinion. They're looking at opinion, and then, they call me king dipshit or something like that, because I disagreed. And I said, and I'll give an example, Jeremy Weed. He's the one that does the post about me. Anything he can post about me negative, he's going to do it. And I said, and then he come back at the end and he made a comment. He said something to the effect, it's hilarious how I think an electrical inspector can cite some OSHA requirement, and I'm like,
they're not citing
it. What is so inappropriate about that comment is that it had to deal with the manufacturer's instructions, and I keep stating over and over, the manufacturer's instructions override the National Electrical Code. And you go to most electrical inspectors, they look at those manufacturer's instructions. It says, don't do this or do this. Guess what? They're going to tell you to do it.
True.
They're going to follow that. And the reason is, and no disrespect to inspectors, installers, engineers, contractors, it doesn't matter who it is, but they don't really know the OSHA requirements. And when I put in there and I say, well, go look at 1910.7, and then for your comment to come back, you think an inspector knows that. No, I don't think they know that. I'd say the majority of them don't. They stick with the National Electrical Code, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's instructions. And that's one reason we take on these type of topics and go through and explain what it says. And when you go look at 1910.7B23, it's very specific. It states right there that in order to get that listing and labeling, they have to follow the national codes. So it could be the National Electrical Code, the Canadian Standard Code for theirs, before they give a listing and labeling there. And that's why we have 110.3B. We have the definition of identified, listed, and labeled. And then we have the definition of approved, which is acceptable to authority having jurisdiction. So to make that argument, and basically what he's doing, he's simping for the other ones that are saying the code overrides it. That isn't true. So,
well, and I think that a lot of these code making panels kind of overstep their bounds. Not all of them. I'm not trying to throw everybody in the same boat. But it just seems like they overstep their bounds a little bit and they want to mandate this stuff. When I saw that, you guys don't mandate anything. You know what I mean? You guys write the code and then the AHJ interprets it. And, Mike Holt, he got a little bit mad at me because I was telling, he had this thing about AHJ. And I was like, yeah, the AHJ can say this equipment has personnel protection and there's no GFCI required. And he got all madder than hell about that. It's like, why? Because that proves him wrong. That proves all of them wrong.
Sure, it does. And
and what is the inspector going off of? He's going off the manufacturer instructions that say don't put it on a Class A protection.
And let me say this. I got a lot of respect for Mike, and I'll tell you why I do. Because he built his business on his own. He didn't work for somebody that's paying them to give their opinions and things like that. And most of those guys that they hire, they wasn't even in the code making process before they got into it, that got hired into this position. And then all of a sudden they're supposed to be experts. But yet you take a guy that's been in the code making process and I'll use my dad as an example, that's been in the code making process. He's been chairman of panels. He's been chairman of committees. I mean, he's done almost everything you could think of, written 16 publications, taught at the biggest companies in the world. He was probably, until they quit doing instruction, he was senior instructor at NFPA. He'd been there longer than anybody. And he's telling you something, but yet, because you don't agree with him, all of a sudden he's an ignoramus, he doesn't know anything because he doesn't agree with the mob, is what I like to call them, that are trying to push something, and I've always believed there's a reason why NFPA got rid of the special experts on the committees, because they would come in and tie in all the other codes and standards that apply to that, and even OSHA, and show where it was wrong. They didn't want that. And ever since they got rid of them, look how many manufactured products are getting implemented without going through the 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 technical merit in order for them to make that change.
True.
And that's a
And you
fact.
know that's yeah, and that was my public comment for 210.8F was basically like they haven't done testing on all this stuff. You know, like they're sitting there going to implement SPGFCI, which
Hmm.
is basically it's adjustable. You know, as an exception to where you can adjust it to where it will adjust up to 20 milliamps. But they don't even haven't even tested that equipment up to 20 milliamps. You know, it could be leaking 22 milliamps, and that thing's gonna still nuisance trip. So
That's right.
how is that an exception that is gonna work for the 2026?
Well, hell, they want
And
to put a new type on there that's not even created yet.
oh yeah, the high frequency,
Yeah,
yeah, the
I
the
mean,
high
give me a
frequency
break.
GFCI.
You're gonna do a requirement for something that hadn't even been created yet, or even been tested or verified or anything. But yeah,
Yeah,
we're the ones that have the problem. You know, it,
yeah,
when you hear stuff like that, and I hate to say this, but it almost feels like the code is getting manufacturer driven.
yeah.
And I hate to say
I
that.
mean, I mean, the thing is that it's just on certain ends of it. Like I really like what Code Making Panel 3 did. A lot of the different stuff Code Making Panel 3 did, wiring methods, different kinds of stuff. Like there's a lot of code making panels that are making a lot of sense. Kind of
Sure.
what they're doing with Chapter 4. They're really integrating Chapter 4, making it all kind of one, like trying to consolidate. And I don't think that they need to do all this radical change in 2029 if they could take articles and combine them into devices and stuff like that. I think that's a good move in the positive direction. So I'm not trying to say every code making panel sucks. It's just you get these ones where like for example, code making panel 2 and code making panel 17, they're not buying that. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to put cooktops and range tops and all this stuff on Class A protection.
Well,
So
sure. You go look at 422.5A. That's why I tell you there's some friction that's going on because they made the statement in there that they take care of the appliances. Code making panel two takes care of the branch circuits.
true.
I mean, there's a
And
reason they say that, and that goes back to what I'm saying. If these manufacturers come in and say no GFCI protection, guess what? That's the manufacturer. They're the ones that have the warranty on that equipment. It's not co-making panel two, and the conductors and the overcurrent devices feeding it. It's the manufacturer that's responsible for that equipment. If they go through and get a UL listing and labeling on there, which they have to follow the national codes, and they go through the national codes and they get a listing and labeling says no GFCI protection, guess what? No GFCI protection.
well, and I'll take that a step further too. What I learned when I was going into like, I basically put a public input in for like an overall exception for incompatible equipment all across 210.8, and you think that would pass, but no. But anyway, it was I gave it the old college try, but when you go look at the statistics on, like, they give a statistic on refrigerators, a cord and plug connected, window AC units, all this stuff that they're trying to push that has to be on Class A protection that's not compatible. And then what are we supposed to do? Because like that's my public comment to them is what is your option? What is our option B? What is our option C? What is our other option? Like they're saying the option is don't install it.
Hmm.
But what we're here sitting here in 2024 and you're saying there's a whole bunch of appliances that we can't install in our house because they're not compatible with Class A devices. That's just ridiculous. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't see how they can live with themselves saying that they're creating electrical safety. Well, I'll never forget this. My apprentice teacher, second year apprentice, Big shout out. His name was also Bill. But he said electricity's dangerous. Don't install it anywhere. You know, and that's fine. If that's your approach to electrical safety, just don't use it. Then I think you got to rethink things and try to figure out how we can make these rules bend around these appliances that are 100% UL listed, 100% not being killing people. Like the statistics on refrigerators alone just blew me away because it's almost zero. And like I think it's really close to zero. And that's over all this time where what are they doing? They're taking their fridges off Class A protection and there's still no incidents.
That's right.
You know, so that's one of those things where I think that we have to kind of get to a point where we can form this code a little bit to try. We kind of have to they have to bend their knee just a little bit and figure out how we could use these statistics of safety, because they're all statistics of safety. Like here you have one death on hardwired utilization equipment outdoors of a dwelling unit, like outside of the 70E ones that you're talking about. But you're talking one death in like a 40-year span, and you're basing this code change off that, you know? Like, we can't be doing that. We're, like, the thing is, the equipment has to work. You know, like, you can't just, I guess where I get a little frustrated, we actually rented a generator for one of the customers, and we're going to backfeed their lights and keep their lighting panel going. Well, none of those LED drivers were compatible with Class A device, so I couldn't do it. Like, minute it tripped, I was like, what do? I didn't have any option. Like, they should have had they should have a lock and key or something and say, if you're an electrician, you can take this lock off and you could bypass the Class A protection and you could backfeed these lights so they could at least have lights while we're doing a service change, you know? And it actually, I was embarrassed because I thought that there was a solution and there wasn't. The solution was just, I have them sit in the dark. You know, and is that where we're really trying to go with electrical technology in 2024? Just tell our customers just sit in the dark because, you know, some little kid got tragically killed, you know, 17 years ago, and we based a code change on that. You know, like it's ridiculous. But I really appreciate all of my listeners out there and people who follow King James, follow me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're up like 300 something now, aren't we?
I think last check, we're kicking on close to 315 now. I mean, it's going up. I mean,
nice.
Every day I do something on there. So, you know, as everybody looks, there's tons of shorts that are going on now. I've been breaking down this podcast into the myth of the week, the topic of the week, and tool of the week. All of those individuals are on there, and easier to reference, get to, and it does take a lot of time to do all that stuff. But
all right, well,
the
thanks
people are
for the like.
enjoying
We just had a like come in just now, so appreciate it. And like I say, you know, it means a lot if you guys have any ideas for myths of the week that you want me to run, or something you're in argument with the inspector or something, hit me up and I'll run it. Me and James, we're not scared to tackle anything.
Nope.
Even if they tell you that like you can't put the ground in there if you have to turn the breaker up by 20 amps, you know. So we'll go to back with you and we'll think maybe that guy's not telling the truth. So we'll see what happens there.
All right, let's meme of the week. I had to think what we were at. All right, here we go. Let's cue her up.
I sent that one. Can you imagine that? It's Electric Avenue and there's no outlet. You can't even get out of the neighborhood.
That's funny.
So I think some of that stuff is actually kind of funny. like I say, a big shout out to Randy Goodman. Thanks so much, Randy. I seen he started following the NAC Code page, so
Awesome.
appreciate you, Randy. And like I say, big shout out for the meme. And we've been arguing over that there can be, so you can have a road with no outlet. Can you believe that? I thought we couldn't even have a branch circuit without an outlet.
It's always got to be
So
an outlet, didn't they say that?
yeah, but I guess I could see if the outlet was continuing, or it's like literally my public input. They said an outlet does not have to exist because
Yep.
that's basically I aligned it with the what do you call it, like the enhanced content of NFPA. And
Hmm.
the enhanced content of NFPA says 210.8F covers the connection of utilization equipment to an outlet.
Right.
So you can't just say that that's just floating at the end of your seal tight where the conductors are out there.
Right.
So, you know, I find it interesting, and I think they're gonna have to maybe even do a little bit more clarification before we get into a second draft moving forward.
Yeah.
But
All
we'll
right.
see.
Let's roll myth. Here we go.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right, thanks so much for all the participation we had this week. It was really awesome. I hit like 60,000 in like one day,
Wow.
and this is just like a typical install that you'd see out there in the field. And kind of what my example would be is you have like copper plumbing lines that's going through there. I couldn't find an exact picture of what I was gonna do. I might actually end up editing it and adding the correct picture when I find one. But basically, the myth this week is number 119. True or false? The NEC gives direction to coat any MC cables or plumbing copper that encounter copper piping within the wall roughing. So this is something that I learned a few years ago when the inspector was like, "Yeah, make sure you tape either the MC or that copper pipe where they cross each other." And I was like, "Do you have a code reference for that? Because I really want to know what that code reference is, because I might run it on Myth of the Week." And so he's like, "Yeah, you know what?" He goes, "I'm going to get you a code reference next time I see you." He goes, "I'll have a code reference." Well, he went and asked the inspection department, and they said, "Well, we just expect the electricians to do it." But he goes, "It's actually in the plumbing code." And it was funny because I had a lot of comments. A lot of the people came in, said dissimilar metals. Well, if you go look in the National Electric Code, copper and aluminum are not dissimilar because they're both non-ferrous. So per the National Electric Code, those are not dissimilar metals. The only thing the National Electric Code addresses is dissimilar metals like copper and steel, and that would be like EMT, not touching copper, and different kinds of stainless steel, not touching copper, and all kinds of like wiring methods that we do. And a lot of times what's interesting is even in that dissimilar metals, they give us permission that we could use steel fittings on aluminum, and they give us permission that we can use dissimilar metals on our wiring methods. So that doesn't mean it's a code violation. We could use steel couplings on aluminum, rigid, and stuff like that. They give us that permission in the code. So it's not just a be all end all to dissimilar metals. And then on top of that, when you go look at it, where it came up, and the inspector came to me and he says, "You know what, Willie?" He's like, "I just want you to keep taping these." He goes, "But I'll tell you honestly," he goes, "it's in the plumbing code." He said because where the electrolysis happens is once the copper gets water in it. So
Mm-hmm.
once it has water in it, that's when the electrolysis happens between the copper and the aluminum. And so he didn't know that, and he says, you know what? He goes, I still want you doing it because you're an electrician, whatever. But he goes, honestly, he goes, we should be making the plumber do it, you know.
Right.
And so to me, I thought it was really cool that he tried to get me an answer on it, and he actually said that we're basically doing it for the plumber to help them out because he said it would just turn into a big chaos because you would have the plumber saying, well, electrician ran his MC cable there, it's not my fault, I don't have to do anything, and then we're gonna go, well, it's plumber's pipe that's causing the problem, so we shouldn't have to do anything, and so they just basically put it on us and say we need to do it. And the thing is, I have no problem doing it. I would rather just go ahead and throw it in than fail inspection for some stupid reason. And like it comes into the AHJ, I was kind of looking into some AHJ stuff. Like I was saying, Mike Holt had a little AHJ thing going, and he was talking about the AHJ requiring ridiculous things. And so I wanted to cover this one because if you wanted to, you probably could fight the electrical inspector and say that you don't have to coat those cables or the copper pipe or anything. And you could probably pass inspection on electrical, but then it's going to fail on plumbing, and then the plumber's going to have a correction, and then he's going to get mad at us saying we need to coat it because ours ran close to his. And you know what I mean? It's just not worth it having a big old battle out there. But
Yeah.
this one's really interesting, and that's why I was trying to get your take on if you've ever ran across that before.
No, there's nothing really in the code that addresses this, so I didn't put anything with this because when you first brought it up to me, you were asking me about it. I said, no, that is not in the code anywhere. Um,
Right.
Somebody will say something about dissimilar metals and things like that, and I said, well, now wait a minute. When that gets into that's dealing with dissimilar metals when you're getting into the designing of equipment, and that goes back to something we were talking about a while ago. The manufacturer's instructions, they have to
Sure.
consider the code, and one of the things they consider is the dissimilar metals. You can't have dissimilar metals. And sort of like I used to use this example when somebody was uh, building their own uh, wireway. We used to use this in class and show them what the thickness was and all of this stuff, and then we'd go over and show them that when you put the cover on, you couldn't use a dissimilar metal because you get the galvanic action and all that other stuff. So,
Sure.
we went through and explained that. Well, this is sort of the same thing. You got to look in the code, and there's nothing in the code that addresses. So when you were asking me, I said that would have to be like in another code before you
Yeah.
let me finish answering. I was going to say plumbing code, for instance, but I said, or else it would be something that would be in the manufacturer's instructions. It had to be one of those two places because the code is not
Sure.
specifically addressed. So therefore, looking at this, the NEC doesn't give direction, but in this case, the UPC, the Uniform Plumbing Code, would. So
Yeah, and so what you run into, and what is UPC? Do you know what standard that is off the top of your head?
no, hell no, I don't. I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I don't deal with that stuff. The only thing I ever really had to go in and look at is building code. As an example, we were doing our uh, outline lighting in Neon Book. We went in there and we actually had Robert Ford at the time that wrote that portion of it, and I worked with him on it to simplify it for everybody. But we went in and we were dealing with the engineering part where they dealt with wind speeds and things like that, and how much concrete you would have in the ground, how deep it had to be. I mean, it was a pretty complex thing in order to make sure that the signs would withstand. And then you would have your angle irons and things like this. Then you had your plastics. You put, I mean, it was quite a bit of a chapter, but that's the only time I've really gone in and really referenced something was in the building code. I'd never really dealt with the plumbing code that much.
Do you know what NFPA number 1 is?
No, I never dealt with it.
I believe it's fire sprinklers
Yeah, I haven't dealt with
or
that.
fire protection. So I think it's like the first thing they, like when they were trying to get, these national codes and standards out there. The first thing they wanted to do was they wanted to do fire protection way before they wanted to do electricity. Electricity was way down the line from
Sure,
their
and
priorities of.
if you look at NFPA, what do they have a lot of codes and stuff on? They got a lot of codes that deal with the fire prevention, fire codes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of codes on that. And I don't ever deal with that, but people are in the fire department, they deal with those codes quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's NFPA 1 and NFPA 13 deals with fire sprinklers.
Yeah.
But
I'm aware of 13. I wasn't of 1.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's just funny to see how that, how we play this hand in hand with removing hazards from these installations, because if you remove the hazard, then you make a safer installation,
Sure.
So that's what I try to do every time, and like I say, it means a lot that everyone's jumping in and kind of give me these ideas, and then like I say, looks like this week on the myth I actually stumped James. I finally stumped him on one where he didn't, hasn't seen it, and like I say, it's crazy to me that like some of the stuff that we run into, like you've already seen it, you've already had people that has tried to fight you on it and stuff, and that kind of stuff is really cool when I could like bring it out and be like, I'm gonna fight King James and the inspector, and then you just didn't want none this week. You're just like, nah, not fighting you, Willie.
Not
Plumbing code.
Not in there.
Yeah.
If it is, somebody tell me where it is, because I don't know where it is.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I can't remember the exact reference, but there is a reference in there that said copper and aluminum are not in the list of dissimilar metals. They're listed as similar metals, and if they were dissimilar, you couldn't connect them in a lug. You know what I mean? Like, because that'd be a violation.
When you brought it, I said, let me ask you a question. If they come in and they went over to a grounding electrode and they connect that grounding electrode to a bar or something like that, you're gonna tell me that those could be dissimilar metals? They do it all the time.
True.
I just gave you an example. I said, you just can't come out and say it has to be in the code. Well, it is in the code, but it's another code.
Yeah.
No,
100%. And like I said,
we're going to run your tool of the week this week first, because we're not doing a topic this week.
All right. That sounds good.
I just didn't have time, man. I was busy this week. All right,
You're good.
Here we go.
Everyone's in.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
Alright, so this is like one of my kind of go-to tools that I really like a lot. This is the Ideal Carbide set, and I really love this. Like I say, usually what I do is I try to wax up my my 7/8, and use my 7/8 as much as possible, then use my knockout set to punch bigger. And then if I really need, in a pinch, I could drill out that 1 3/8 for the 1 inch, or the 1 1/8 for 3/4. Like I say, the only thing that really irritated me about this set was I bought it brand new, and in shipping, the set screw for the pilot bit came loose. So I went to go drill my first hole, and I snapped the pilot bit. And so I realized from there on that if you get these and they come shipped, just make sure you get that Allen wrench in there and tighten those set screws, and make sure they're tight before you drill your first hole. Because if you have that pilot bit a little loose and stuff, then it's just gonna go wobbly, and then right when the teeth catch, it's just gonna snap the pilot bit. So mine actually has one pilot bit, it still works good. But they do give you, I think, a spare pilot bit with it. So I was lucky that happened. But just keep that in mind. I think altogether I have like 2 pilot bits for all 3 of my hole size, for all 3 of my carbides. But I really like this. Like I say, the thing that's really good about carbides is like when you're punching into a panel or something, you can actually kind of put a magnet in there, and that slug just barely comes out, and you can catch it. You know, so I like that a lot. It doesn't like go through. I've heard times where guys like have their hand on the other side, and they just drill right into their hand, you know. And
wow.
So, you know, that's the kind of things you got to watch out for. A lot of times when I'm doing it, you could put like a piece of cardboard or like a box on the other side, and then when you pop through, you know, it doesn't come all the way through and go into the box. It just pops through, drops a little slug out, and then you just catch that with the box or magnet or whatever you want, and then move it out of the way. But I really like that. It's a really cool tool. Like I say, I've heard kind of horror stories about the Klein. I would have ran the Klein, but I've heard horror stories that they don't have a very good quality metal, and that they've just broken apart right out of the box. So to me, I kind of want to avoid that. And like I say, the Ideal, I feel, is a good solid brand. I've had mine for, man, it's going on probably 10 years. And every time I replace one, I just replace it with another Ideal, put it back in the same case, and then, you know, make sure they give me an extra pilot bit, almost kind of like how, you know, I'm trying to get those code changes from you from 2020, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey man, you guys broke my pilot bit from, you know, 10 years ago, you know, like, you gotta still owe me a pilot bit, you know what I mean? Kind of that same thing, you know what I mean? It's just like kind of never letting things go, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But the thing is, I know when you get back on your feet, and like when you get the LMS going, then I'll get all those code changes back and everything. So
coming very soon. Very soon.
It's all good. I appreciate you, brother. But I think you should get this one pretty easy. Like I say, I know that you got some pretty good Chapter 5 stuff out there.
16-inch boat for an unvented repair. Oh, yeah. This one is going to refer you back to 511.3B, I think's a table, something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, because it's unvented, I think that is B, class 1 div 2, I think, when it goes back there. But it's in a table. You got to go through, and that's 2 weeks in a row you've asked me questions that are in a table. You got to go in there and look at all of that. I'm gonna go with B.
James, like, you're gonna use the table as an excuse, really?
Yep.
Oh man, but you are correct, so you got it right.
It's the table, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did have a few class 1 div 1 answers, which that would be correct in certain applications and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, it depends on the table. You know, it depends on normal operating condition, normal use,
And
everything like that.
and the thing about that is when you go in and look at that table, it doesn't say unvented boat repair shop. It doesn't even have them listed. It's coming from another article referring you back over to Article 511. You pick up 511B, and that's where you go in and make the determination. So yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
there's
a little
like,
bit of a trick question. If people didn't know, you got to go back and get the information there.
yeah, and there's like unvented auto repair places, and there's like I think they finally did away with I think just all repair shops are class 1 div 2 in the pit. Or it
Hmm.
might be class 1 div 1 in the pit, and then class 1 div 2 outside the pit.
Hmm.
But like that kind of stuff, like hopefully I don't have one of those coming up soon. But like some of that stuff gets tricky. James covers a little bit some aircraft hangar stuff, so I might have to maybe toss in some aircraft hangar ones, maybe possibly out of his own code change book. But we'll see. I got you twice on your own code change book, so that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good odds. That I got you twice out of your
No,
own book.
once. You got me once.
I think I got you twice.
No, you got me
So
once.
you had the
There was one
yeah.
time, and I said it was one of the two. I couldn't remember if it changed or not, but
Oh,
it
so
doesn't matter.
it was
That's
the
out of like how many questions now? Over 100 and something, 150. I mean,
oh
it was
yeah.
like a bunch of them, man. Like, damn. But
Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
I did get you on that floor. I got you on the floor receptacle, the furniture. I got you on that furniture one. It was like a 12-inch thing,
Yeah,
and you didn't know that. But I think that was in like Article 620 or something like that. It was
yeah.
like a weird, obscure article. And then I got you on the 10, what was it? It was 5 kV, or it was 5 kiloamps, 5 kVA
Oh, yeah,
was
yeah,
the minimum rating, and you said 10.
yeah,
And 10 typically is the minimum. Like, you're not going to see a 5 kV rated,
yeah.
breaker or whatever. It's always going to be 10. But they set that. Wasn't that a code change for the minimum? That they dropped it to a lower minimum? I think it's to align with, like, HVAC equipment. So that,
Yeah, I
because,
think
like,
that's what it was. Yeah,
I think the HVAC equipment has a minimum of 5. So the overcurrent device should have a minimum of 5 too. So you could just make that a dedicated individual branch circuit just for that and have its own rating.
right.
That way you don't have to get all crazy. And I think that was a good change, though. Actually.
I do too. All right, you ready for the Willie Quiz?
Hey, why don't we just do the wall of shame? Maybe see if we can soak up that last little 10 minutes.
Okay.
And see if we
All right.
get anybody pop in for the quiz.
Okay. Yeah, let's roll it.
Shame. 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 Shame.
All right. Wall of shame. Here you go.
Nice. Oh, what? Oh, dude, I think I approved that one. It's got its own little switch just jumping in and out of there,
Yeah. Go ahead and talk. I'll be right back. I got to get something real quick.
huh? Okay. So, I just want to say I apologize for not submitting the Wall of Shame picture. Dude, I had a really good one, you guys, and apologize. I had it all set up, and I just didn't send it to James for the podcast, so that's on me. But I will get it next week, and I will tag you on it and everything. But like I say, the thing is that, do you think that maybe they were just going off this because it's like so old it like looks like it's supposed to be a candle?
I don't
Maybe
know.
they thought they'd get away with it.
I thought it was pretty inventive. I was like, they really did some work there. I have a feeling they probably took and drilled a hole in the bottom of that right there in order to get that wire out of there to put that little switch on it. And when I saw it, I was like, now that's some custom made work right there.
Like, I'm
But
almost guessing that it was probably like a hater Sparky, and he probably pulled the wires out further to make it look worse. Like, it probably might not have looked too bad, like tucked up in there with all the wires tucked in there. So that's what I would have done. Like, if I would have tried to sell it. I would have tried to pull it off. Like, I would have tried to like push the wires up in there and got them like tucked up nice and made it look like it never even happened. But some of that stuff, like, we have to have like our own machine shop kind of out in the field, and we have to do our own stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I think I would have probably just cut a regular switch right below it or something, maybe.
well, the thing I'm curious of, as I'm looking at that, since there's a switch there now, is that where the outlet is?
Ay. Oh, it's a
Which
lighting
one of those
outlet.
are the outlet right there?
It's a lighting outlet. You have a lighting outlet there, but you never know. Like, it's wherever the branch circuit ends. So is the branch circuit ending there, or is the branch circuit connecting to multiple outlets? Like, that was one of the big arguments that I ran into with it. Was these guys like, oh, that means that an individual branch circuit can have more than one outlet. I'm like, no, it can't. It's like, how is an individual branch circuit going to have more than one outlet?
It can't.
It's supposed, yeah, like, they're saying it ends at the outlet. Then all of a sudden you're going to say it can have more than one outlet?
No.
Like, they can't just talk out both sides of their mouth on that. And, like, when you look at this, right, like, what would be your solution to this? Like to me personally, I just cut a box in right below it. And
Yeah, I mean, you could have just come off to the side and put you a little switch right there.
yeah,
If you
or
wanted
down
like
below at like switch height or something.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that's what you were talking about. What I think it was last week or a week before. You're like, well, that now that that outlet box that you cut in is going to be your outlet, and the light's going to be the utilization equipment that connects to it.
Sure.
You know?
It goes back to what I was saying. Like you were just talking about the individual branch circuit. And I made this statement many times. They say there's always an outlet. I said, okay, well, if that's the case, I said, then where the definition of branch circuit, it says it can supply an outlet or outlets. Well, it's already telling you can supply an individual outlet in the definition of branch circuit. If that's the case, why do you even need the definition of an individual branch circuit? Well, the reason they do, because it's supplying utilization equipment. Now,
Sure.
one of the things that somebody said to me, they said, I was trying to remember who it was, but they said, well, if you go over and look at 315B, it says that there at the equipment, it can be used in lieu of a box. That's correct. In lieu of a box. It didn't say in lieu of an outlet box. And
True.
I said, I can take you all over the coast. Let's just say that I have right here in this room. And right up there in the middle of the ceiling there, I have a box there. Okay? What is that box called? It's called an outlet box. Go look at 314.27. It's specific. It's not at the utilization equipment. Now, if I took and say let's just say I had a 2x4 fixture right there, fluorescent fixture, and I've got a switch over there and I wire directly to it. There's no box or anything there. Now, where does the outlet at? It's not at the fluorescent lighting fixture. It's back over here at the switch. Now, if you go back and you can look, and we may do this as a myth, to go through. Well, we sort of did the other day, but
Yeah.
you know, Jeremy asked me this question a long time ago. He goes, well, what if I have a switch box over there and I wire directly to a fluorescent fixture? I said, it's at the box there. I said,
Yeah.
the one consistency I've always proven is it's at the box. And if you go look at one of the proposals I made was on disconnecting means, they said not all disconnects have an outlet. No kidding. So they clarified what I said. So that goes back to what I was saying before when they argued with me. If I had a disconnecting means sitting out there at the AC unit, they said the outlet's on the load side. I said, no, it's not. It's an assembly. And I said, nowhere in the manufacturer's instructions they tell you there's an outlet on there. That's an assembly. If I have a switch over here feeding a fluorescent fixture, that's not an assembly. It's just, it'd be no different than if I put a receptacle there. It's in a box. It's a receptacle out. That's a switch outlet. They basically what Code Making Panel 1 did is they clarified what I stated previously.
Well, and what cracked me up was Mike Holt sitting there going, oh, well, I just took the arrow off that doesn't point to anything. Why can't you point at the equipment? Why can't you point to the seal tight where the wires come in? You're scared to do that? You know, like, to me, that just blew me away that he said he's scared to point to whatever, you know? Like, why are you scared? Like, I mean, what's there to be scared about? If there's an outlet there, point to the outlet. And that's what cracks me up about it. Like, why can't they add outlet to individual branch circuit? If it already connects to an outlet, what's the harm in putting an outlet in the freaking definition? It's already there.
Because there's no outlet there, that's why.
That's what I'm saying. And then they said the outlet does not have to exist as long as it's connected to one piece of utilization equipment. So you're trying to tell me the National Electric Code assumes that there's an outlet? You know, so it's interesting. Like, I think this is going to be interesting. Oh, guess who just popped in? We got our old buddy John Reitz up in the house.
So kids couldn't reach. Yeah.
That's funny.
And then we had here, I thought a switch was a device. It is. It is a device. And that has been my whole comment on all of this, is when you get in and you start looking at a receptacle.
Oh, dude, I was missing the comments. So I apologize.
Yeah, I just saw them pop up. I had a whole bunch. I was like, he must not see them. But I stated this a long time ago, David. This is where it got interesting. When I first started getting attacked on this, because I said there's no GFCI for the AC unit. I said, because there's no outlet. And this all happened. Bill had me on his podcast. This is a long time ago. About 3 years ago now. I think about 3 years. And he was asking me, and I was explaining it. And then the next thing I know, he posted over at ECD. And all these guys just started attacking me, calling me names, all kinds of stuff. And what they did was they kicked me out of the group first. You didn't even know what was going on. All of a sudden, I get booted, and then next thing you know, you're like, dude, they're talking all kinds of crazy stuff about you. I'm like, what? I was like, I'm not in the group anymore. You're like, no, they were talking all kinds of crazy stuff what you were doing, and I was like, oh, all right. Oh yeah, they were upset, and I said to them, you know, the first thing they said, it's on the load side of the disconnecting means. I said, no, it isn't. I said, if you look at a disconnecting means, I said, what is it? It's a device or group of devices. I said, basically what you're saying, if you're going to state that, I said, then I could have it at the circuit breaker. And they go, what are you, stupid? And blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I'm trying to point out what the code states. So,
yeah, and so what we're saying, David, is the outlet is the box that the switch is installed in. It has nothing to do with the load side terminals of the device. And I want to give a big apology to Eric Deluber. Dude, I freaking forgot to send Stallcup your picture, so you still won. You still won the shout out. But it's gonna go next week, so I'll get you, brother. You'll be Wall of Shame pick next week. This week was the lamp that had a switch on the outside.
Yeah.
So my bad. That was my mistake, and I screwed it up. But James has no problem picking a second place. So
No, you know, and the thing that was interesting, after I stated that, then they went off for about an hour and a half to. Then they come back and said it's at the equipment, and I said, no, it isn't. I said, well, I didn't state that right. I said, is that equipment rated for a weatherproof installation? And they came back and they said, what the hell's that got to do with it? I said, well, if I put a box out there, I take, and my wiring methods, everything, all that has to be rated for a weatherproof location, doesn't it? And they said, well, not that, because it's listed and labeled. I said, well, where in the listing and labeling do they tell you that that's an outlet? Then they went to 300.15b, and they said, well, it can be used in lieu of a box. I said, where does it say outlet box? I said, see, that's the difference, because if I go out on the outside and I put a receptacle outside and it's mounted to the wall there, does that box, the wiring methods and everything, have to be rated for a weatherproof location? Sure it does.
Nope.
You know, and
not if you're freaking applying the UL standard, because that's a dry location.
Yeah. Well, and I brought that up. So then the next thing happened. They went where the wiring method connects to the utilization equipment, and I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "You're telling me that you have an outlet that's just free floating in an infinite space?" And then the next thing you know, they quoted to me the definition of what infinite space was. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So then they went from there. Then they said it was just the wiring method itself was the outlet. And then finally, I think they have settled on it's at the equipment. You know, they've changed so many times on their location. But my whole point behind everything was, every time I called out where an outlet was, and I referenced things in the NEC, one thing that held true, it always said what? Outlet box.
True.
And I said, if everything has an outlet at the end of it, why does the co-making panel or anybody that's out there feel the need to say there's an outlet box? Because at the end of the branch circuit, it's an outlet anyway. So why do we have to clarify it's an outlet box? And then in other locations, we don't have to clarify it.
Why do they have
That's
to
my
clarify?
argument right there. You see,
Why do you have to clarify whether corded plug connected or hardwired? Why do you have to say both? Why can't you just say when connected to outlets? That's it. It's over.
that's my whole point.
There's no
is
difference.
I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I don't really care, you know, but I have reasoning to why I believe what I believe. And I could be wrong, I could be right. But at this present time, everything I'm stating is backed up with code language. And I can literally go in and show you where they say outlet box, and other places they don't say outlet. Well, why is it? There's got to be a reason behind it. You know, you just, and one of the things I don't like a lot is where people come in and then they just want to give their opinion, but they don't want to back it up with anything. They just say, read the definition of outlet, that's the end of story. Read the definition of branch circuit. Well, I did read the definition of branch circuit, and it says an outlet or outlets. And if it says only a single outlet, why do I need individual branch circuit? And then you submitted and said you wanted to put outlet in there, and they rejected that. Well, why did they reject it? Because it's strictly for what? Utilization equipment. It doesn't say. And if you got, and I'll just ask anybody that's watching this, if it says utilization equipment, okay, do you consider that to be a listed and labeled piece of equipment? Sure you do. It's a listed, that AC unit's listed and labeled, okay? Now, if it's listed and labeled and they were planning on that to be used as an outlet box, don't you think based on 1910.7 B23 in the OSHA standard, where they get into the listing and labeling and what the requirements are from the manufacturer to follow, and they tell them to follow the national codes that they would have to take and follow that and then make that a weatherproof enclosure there where they're doing the wiring. You see what I'm saying? You can't pick and choose when you want to apply a definition.
I'll take it a step further on that. So you have Elon Musk. He's got his Tesla chargers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't mention anything about 210.8F. He doesn't mention anything about his chargers or his electrical vehicle service equipment connecting to an outlet. You would think that if it was going to be getting its listing and being code compliant and comply with 62554, that they would have to say that.
Sure.
But they don't, because it doesn't, and it's not true. And I can guarantee they're going to have a hard time with that in the 2026.
Really are.
You know.
All right, you ready? Don't forget. Oh yeah, I'm about to get mine in. I've one that I think, David, you'll find very interesting that I'm going to do, because they made a change to 110.3B, which I agree with. But I'm also going to comment on that, and I'm going to place in there, and I'm going to write a sentence at the end of it that says the National Electrical Code overrides the listing and labeling and manufacturer's instructions. And I want a specific from the code making. But I can tell you they're going to reject that, and they're going to say no, it doesn't, because they know that it's already followed the National Electrical Code. It's required by OSHA. And I'm going to refer back to OSHA that says that exact thing. And I want them to reject it and say, no, once that happens, and it doesn't really matter what they're saying about the manufacturer, because it's already, they're giving their opinion on it. So that's going.
I'm gonna pin that comment from David Englehart, James, so that we don't forget. All right. So, all right. I guess Adam must be busy over there at Team SOS, but we'll go ahead and start the Willie Quiz. Anyone that wants to pop in that has a guest invite, feel free to pop in, and we're gonna start it up.
All right. Let's cue it.
Yeah, and that's so fun. That's so awesome that Adam made that. And I have a quick little comment from David Englehart that he's heard that Tesla chargers are to be installed by Tesla certified installers, and that's totally cool, David. And what are they installing them at? Per the manufacturer instructions. And if they ask me about it, I would reference 62554. No GFCI protection is required when hardwired.
That's right.
So, you know. So, question number 1. What modern invention, often credited to Sir Tim Berners-Lee in 1989, revolutionized the way we share and access information globally? Was it A, the internet? Was it B, the World Wide Web? Was it C, email? Was it D, the personal computer? Or was it E, AOL? Good luck, everyone.
Well,
dude, we have somebody jumping in from Over there, Chicago, welcome in, Mike Kozlov. Oh, dude, roll tide from Chicagoland. And you're welcome, Mike. Anytime, brother, you have any myths you want covered, just pop them on in, sir.
I think we're going to be getting a lot of little kicks in there for roll tide, hook 'em horns, gig 'em, Aggies, Boomer Sooner. I think we're going to be getting all of those coming in here pretty soon. Football season started, which I'm very excited. I'm ready for football season. But since you're sharing and accessing information globally, I guess that would have to be the World Wide Web. It only one makes sense to me, so I would go with that.
All right. Well, looks like David Englehart's get a copy. www. Looks like Cesar Blanco. Welcome in, Cesar Blanco. Oh, dude, Texas Connections. Oh, dude, Texas Connection gonna be. All right. Well, I have to tell you guys, you are correct. That is the correct answer. It was the World Wide Web.
Sure, that's the only thing it could be, in my opinion. All right. Next one.
All right, which groundbreaking intervention first developed by John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley in 1947 is considered the cornerstone of modern electronics? Is it A, the microprocessor, B, the semiconductor, C, the transistor, D, the integrated circuit, or E, the microchip? Good luck, everyone.
Well, this is an interesting one because it's back in 1947.
Dude, Mike goes semiconductor. Dude, that's a good answer, Mike.
I would think that'd be later. All of those would be later except for the transistor. I think the transistor would have been one of the first, but I don't know how early that would have been. I don't think them others really came in until 70s and 80s.
Yeah, the microchip. I think the microchip was kind of early for its time,
But I think it was like in the 60s, 70s, wasn't it? Because I was trying to think.
John Reese is saying semiconductor was way earlier.
Really? So we're looking at, God, I would think the transistor would be that's a tough one for me there. I'll flip between B and C. We'll go heads for semiconductor. Let's see. I ended up getting tails, so I'm going to have to go with C.
All right. Well, you would be agreeing with David Englehart, and you are correct. It was a transistor, and John Reitz got it, and Cesar Blanco got it. So, good job, everyone. Way to communicate and copy King James. Oh, dude. John Reed says that was Bell Laboratory. So, nice. He even gives the pulling off a...
I was thinking about that. I was thinking Bell Laboratories or Texas Instruments.
Right.
I was looking at those two. That's where I was thinking, because Texas Instruments was really big back then. I think, we had a big place over here in Texas, and that's why I was thinking the transistor. Because I remember, I was trying to remember back when I started school, I didn't remember ever doing any of them others except for transistor. When I was going through apprenticeship, they started talking about that stuff, and they got in, they started talking about the gates and all that other stuff. I didn't remember any of them others there. So, all right, well, cool. All right, I got it anyway. It doesn't matter.
All right. He said early 60s. Okay.
Okay, I was pretty. Yeah, I said 70s. So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, which popular invention introduced in 1971 by Ray Tomlinson transform how people communicate over long distance without the need for a telephone? Was it A, email? Was it B, SMS, text messaging? Was it C, VoIP, voice over internet protocol? Was it D, the pager? Or was it E, the ham radio? Good luck, everyone. All right, so Mike Kozlov right away. Oh, dude, Mike must have Googled this. He's already going ham radio, so.
I would have thought that was way before then. I was going to look at pager or email. I know it's funny because.
Well, David Englehart says D, ham radio, which D would be pager, but.
See, I think that was beforehand. See, I know the SMS. The guy that actually created it did not do the patent on it, and he lost a ton of money not doing that. And then the voice over internet protocol, I know it come afterwards. Ham radios before, but I was trying to think on the pagers because I remember I had one of those, but that was right in the 80s that I had it. But I don't think you could go real long distances with a pager. That was the thing about the pager was limited. The only thing you could go real long distances was email. So it's either A or E.
Didn't they have the first cell phone in like mid 70s or late 70s?
Something like that. I remember email being a big thing because I remember my dad when he was doing it, and he would communicate back and forth with American Tech Publishers, and that was back in the 70s. So I know that was there then. So I'm going to go with A. I think A's it. It's A or D.
Yeah. So it's weird because like David Englehart said D, ham radio, which I don't know. I mean,
he meant A. That's fine.
Yeah. He, like whatever. But then you look at like Cesar Blanco. He says A. And the Texas connection comes through, and you guys are right. The answer is A, email. So, John Reed's got a win on that one. So we got a lot of people in here. That's 3 for 3 tonight. So,
well, that was awesome. Process of elimination for me there. Just knowing, when I had access. I remember when Dad was emailing because he thought that was the coolest thing back then. So,
nice.
That's interesting. All right, cool.
All right. What was the first commercially successful video game console launched in 1972, which laid the foundation for the modern gaming industry? Is it A, Nintendo NES? Is it B, Atari 2600? Was it C, Magnavox Odyssey? Was it D, Sega Genesis? Or was it E, Fairchild Channel F? Good luck, everyone.
Well, this is going to be easy one for me. I'm going with B, Atari, because I used to play it in the 70s. There was only one I remember that there was a console and we played Pong on it. So
all right.
That's mine. I'm going B. I ain't going to try to even decipher the rest of those because that was the first one that you played Pong on.
Cesar, Texas Connections, copying you. Looks like Mike's going B. Looks like John Reed's. Oh, John Reed's goes C. Magnavox. Okay. David goes Nintendo. Man, dude, Nintendo NES. All right. So we're gonna have to do a drum roll, and we're gonna have to give John the lead tonight. It was the Magnavox Odyssey,
Really?
and it actually defeated the Fairchild Channel F. Fairchild Channel F was one of the first ever, and the Magnavox Odyssey was the first commercially successful, and then that got defeated by the Atari. So.
Really? The only one I remember was Atari. That's what I played with back in the 70s.
Congratulations, John Reitz, finally getting a lead on King James. So,
Yeah.
man, we got some sharks up in here tonight, brother. Question number 5. Are we question number 5 already?
Yep.
All right. Which medical invention, first introduced in 1982 by Dr. Robert Jarvik, has since saved countless lives by taking over the heart's function when it fails? Is it A, the artificial heart? Is it B, the pacemaker? Is it D, the defibrillator? Is it C, the defibrillator? Is it D, dialysis machine? Or is it E, the LVAD, left ventricle assist device? Good luck, everyone. All right, so we already have answers coming in from Mike. Mike Kozlov's going pacemaker. All right, good answer, pacemaker.
I will give the answer after everybody what I think it is, and I'll give the reason why I think that I do.
All right, we'll wait for a couple more answers to come in. Let's see. David Englehart. Oh, B, pacemaker. Okay. Let's see. John Reese came in. John Reese is A, artificial heart. See
Well,
if there's any other
I can
answers
tell
that
you,
come
I'm going to tell the story. Okay?
in. Okay.
One of my good friends in high school, his mom had heart problems, and they just came out with this in 1982. And the reason I know this, because I graduated in 1982 from high school. And she was having problems with her heart and all of that, and they had to do something, and they gave her an artificial heart. It was a new procedure that come out, and that was introduced in 82. And I think she had hers done like at the first of 83. It was probably like March when she had hers done. And that's the only reason I know this. So I'm going with A because of that story right there. So either I'm right or wrong, but I remember that when I was growing up. So, and she ended up living another 12 years and started having complications with that artificial heart. And she ended up passing away. But I'll go with A.
Oh, David Englehart is saying you're class of 79.
Class of 79, that means you're either 64 or 65, right?
James, man, I'm really hating to tell you this, but you are correct, and you lose the game with John Reitz got all 5 correct tonight, so we got
John.
5 for 5. Smoked you, bro. So that was pretty awesome, John. Nice display tonight, and like I say, that the whole reason I put these together is just so I can maybe full King James on like 1 or 2 a night, but. Like I said, you came a long way. The last time we did inventions, you went 1 for 3. So you got a lot more.
63. When's your birthday, David? Mine's in November too. I'm 11/11.
Wow, that's crazy.
Scorpios.
Yeah.
No wonder he's so smart.
Guess who else? Guess who else is a Scorpio?
Who's that?
Me.
You're a Scorpio too? When's your birthday?
Yeah, 10/29, October 29th.
29. Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see what he put here.
13th.
13th, man. He's real close to me. All right, let's see.
Oh, sorry about that.
Quit commenting.
Hey, it's like,
Oh, yeah, I'm a geek too, brother. I'm right there with you. I enjoy that. Those are some good questions. I enjoyed that.
nice. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like I say, we get everyone in, and popping in. Like I say, to go 5 for 5, and like even it was awesome to have like Mike Kozlov jump in, David Englehart, Mr. E in the house, Electrical Wizardry in the house. It's pretty awesome. We just have fun doing these every night, and like I say, I'm on vacation, so next podcast I'm still gonna be on vacation, so it's pretty fun. We're heading up to Estes Park tomorrow, and I will be off the radar. So don't even try to call me if you get in the freaking ECD boy battle. I'm not even gonna be. I'm gonna be off the radar. I won't even have service all the way till like Monday or something. But I'll be back on the hook again, and I'll be getting a question ready for you.
Okay.
And like I say, I apologize to you, Eric. Like I say, the wall of shame I was supposed to send you was from Eric, and like I say, we'll give you credit next week, Eric, and we'll make sure it gets up there for your shout out.
Oh yeah, and everybody make sure y'all go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, because it amazes me. I mean, we're getting, I go in and look at unique visitors, and there's 1,500 of them on there. I'm like, at least give us a subscribe. I mean, y'all are here hanging out. I mean, it doesn't even take you any time to subscribe, and you'll keep up, because like I said, we're always adding, the myth of the week. We're adding the topic of the week, the tool of the week, the 2023 changes that I'm updating now with all the new videos and everything. And then soon after that, you'll have the 2023 journeyman going on and all that. So give us a subscribe.
Good night, David. We got the death match coming soon, sir. So we got you already penciled in at the number 1.
Yep, we're getting there. And I just hope everybody just comes over and share it. Ever since we started tagging everything, it's just really taken off. So, I guess we should have done that a long time ago, but I didn't know how to do everything. And now
I've been tagging everything on Facebook, and so like if you type in hashtag High Voltage Live Show, you'll see like all our episodes come up, everything. So
did you notice I went back and I tagged all of that?
Yeah,
I tagged everything. Yeah. I was like, okay, well I'm gonna start tagging. I've been doing it over on Instagram, all the places. I'm just tag. So, and here pretty soon I'm gonna load up all those videos. I'm gonna load them up to Rumble too. So
there you go.
We're gonna have tons of stuff on there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get to my vacation, and I appreciate everyone joining. Thanks so much. We had a great episode, and thanks so much everyone for joining. Appreciate you, James, for putting together. And as always, remember, make every day an easy day.
Amen. All right, everybody, enjoy the start of college football week. Got 2 games that I know of that are being played this week. And we'll see y'all next week and getting ready for really the main kickoff for college football. And I think not this coming Monday, but the next Monday, we're going to start up and we're going to do it on here. We're going to do Monday evenings and we're going to talk football. So,
dude, that was a really good imitation of the Dallas Cowboys you just did right there.
Yeah.
Hey, go Broncos.
It's going to be a fun season. All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy the start of football season. And we'll 2 weeks. We'll start off on Mondays and still have our Thursday, but we'll do Monday morning coach. And I'm going to start getting that channel on the Facebook fixed up and everything. And one of the great things is all those episodes that we do, you know, we're just sort of feel our way around, but we're going to have those on the High Voltage Live YouTube channel. So they'll be under a group that's there, and you can come in there and watch those too. So.
And we will have fantasy. I don't know if James is going to do fantasy on ESPN, but I'm doing fantasy, so we'll have my fantasy picks.
We may do that next year and set up and have a fantasy league of our own as we start building more and more members. And I think everybody will enjoy listening to us talk. What we'll try to do also is we have quite a few people already, and we'll let you pick a college team or a pro team, whatever you want to pick, and you can come in and we may take that week and talk about your team, how they did, everything. You can talk about them. You know, we'll pick, might be my team, you know, I may do the Longhorns, you know, and talk about, but I'll probably want to do them when we play Michigan the second week. So,
well, don't forget my new segment that we're going to do in Monday Morning Coach that's called the Final Countdown. It's like the team that comes back and wins at the end of the game.
Yeah, that'll
college,
be the last
NFL.
of the segment we talk about that. That'd be fun.
I love it. All right, everyone, cool. Have a good week.
I'm looking so forward to doing the football one. That's going to be so much fun. All right,
Me too.
Everybody have a good week, and we'll see y'all next Thursday. All right.
Peace.
Out of here.